Good morning, Brianna. Where is everybody? Oh my goodness. Let's try again. Good morning, Brianna. Good morning, Haley. Melina. Good morning. Morning, Haley. Wonderful. Caleb. Aiden. Dillo. Okay, welcome, everybody. Please open up our slideshow for today and we're going to take a look at this warm up for today. So I'm going to get started on this warm up. Let's take a look at what we're doing here. So it says in an earlier lesson, we were given the equation V plus F minus 2 is equal to E, which relates to the number of vertices, sides, or vertices, faces, and edges. So V stands for vertices, F stands for faces, E stands for edges.
Interruption, non-certified staff, if you have your timesheets ready, you can send me by this afternoon. We're not sure about tomorrow, so we
Thank you,
get
Landon.
our timesheets in a little earlier this week. Thank you for your cooperation. And have a nice holiday too.
Oh, just kidding. We still have a minute before people should get in. I still want you looking at this warm up though. Fizza and Eric. Why I was rushing, like I thought you guys were late or something, because you're not. You are perfectly on time. Give me 1 second and I will explain what we're doing for this warm up today. So if we're looking at this warm up for today, we were given this equation of V plus F minus 2 is equal to E, which is talking about vertices, faces, and edges on a platonic solid. We're writing an equation that makes it easier to find the number of vertices in each of the platonic solids described. So you're gonna plug in the information that we're given here. So an octahedron shown below has 8 faces. So you're gonna use this right here. And we are going to, let me let Meryl and Eric in. You're going to take this equation here and you're going to isolate for that variable F using this idea of the faces is now equal to F, or 8. Then you're going to do the same thing for the isosahedron. You're going to isolate for V. You're going to isolate for V, but now given that we have 30 edges, okay, you're getting rid of that 8 from the previous one, but now you're going to say we have 30 edges. Then on this last one here, you're going to use this same equation again, and you're going to 60 vertices, and you're going to isolate it for V. You're taking 2 minutes right now to get started on this warm-up. Eric, let's see if we can get him in. Jessica. Eric, let's try the second Eric because maybe it's just funky donkey. Okay, Brady is here. Meryl is here. Was Jada McGibbon in yet? No, okay. Reese's Pieces was here, I saw her. So we're just waiting for Jaden, Caden. Perfect. Everybody should be in. Hello. Oh, my screen is not shared. Miss Jermaine. That was a rookie move, you guys. Oh, no. Okay, anyways, that's okay. We're just looking at slide 2 and slide 3, working on that warm-up. Thank you for letting me know. That could have been tragic. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna give you another, I'm gonna actually add on another 30 seconds. So when that goes off, we're gonna add another 30 seconds for you to do a little bit more work with this. Actually, I'm gonna leave that chair there because I have been sitting a little bit. Thank you for letting me know, Melina. Okay, so here we go. Let's think about what this means. So first, I need to insert or plug in this concept of now my f is equal to 8. So if I take that and plug it in, that's okay, Claire, I'm recording so you can watch it if you get kicked out. If you plug this 8 in for our faces, we're going to be left with the equation of f plus 8 minus 2 is equal to e. So I can combine like terms here. What are my two terms combined to? The 8 and the negative 2 combined to a, nice job, Julia, a 6. V plus 6 is equal to E. Now, how do I isolate or get the V by itself? What am I going to do to each side to isolate or get the V by itself? Very good, Julia. I'm going to subtract 6 on each side. So the final answer for this is going to be V is equal to E minus 6 when we isolate for our V vertices. Okay? So now we're going to look at this icosahedron, which has a 30 edges. I'm going to plug 30 in for which variable here? Very good for my E. Nice job, Julia. You are on it today. I love it. So we're going to have V plus F minus 2 is equal to 30. Okay? What's my first step to get that V by itself? What am I going to do to each side? Landon, what do we think? Nice job, Julia. I want people need to start putting answers in the chat, guys. I need to hear what you're thinking. We're going to add 2 to each side. Very good, Julia. I'm going to be left with V plus F is equal to 32. And is my V isolated yet? Yes or no? Throw me in the chat. What is it? Is it isolated, yes or no? No, I have to do one more step. What am I going to do here, Melina? What do I have to do to get that V by itself? Nice job, Aiden. Nice job, Haley.
Subtract F on both sides.
Very good. Subtract F from both sides. I'm going to be left with V is equal to 32 minus F. And you want to make sure that you're leaving it in that order because subtraction is a little bit, is order exclusive, right? So you need to make sure that you keep the order of it. So it's 32 minus the F. Good. That's the answer for that second one there. Okay. Now I'm going to erase the first one and we're going to look at the next piece of this. Okay. So also guys, I want us moving forward, starting tomorrow, we're going to be using exclusively our books because other teachers have been asking for us to be able to sort of check in at any moment what people are doing, if they're working in their books. So we're going to be working on our slides so that I can more easily check in on you guys. Okay, so that's just, I'll talk about that more at the end. So now we're looking at the same equation again, and we're given this idea of 60 vertices. So I'm going to plug 60 in this time for which variable?
V.
Very good, V. So I would be left with 60 plus F minus 2 is equal to E. Okay? So what can I do first before?
Excuse the interruption. We have a change with non-certified timesheets. Please, if you want to send them to me electronically, you can also do that. It does not have to be due on Monday. Timesheets are due.
Okay, I have to
next
combine like
Thursday.
terms here, my friends.
So,
Very good, Julia. We have to
that's
combine like
three.
terms. I have to combine my 60 and my -2, and that combines to what? Nice job, Julia. Very good. It combines to a 58 plus F is equal to E. Now, how do I isolate for that 58, which represents our V there? Very good. I'm going to subtract F from both sides. I'm going to be left with 58 is equal to E minus F. All of these equations that we just wrote, are they equivalent to one another? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat right now. Every single person, are all three of these equations we just wrote equivalent to this original guy here? Yes or no? Follow-up question. Keep giving me your answers. I've only gotten 4 people's answers. I need every person's answers. I need 17 answers there. Follow-up question to maybe make it a little bit easier for you. Did we maintain equity with every move that we made? If you said yes, then that means they are equivalent to one another. Very good. All 3 of these equations are equivalent to one another because we maintained equity as we went through and did all of these moves. We subtracted the same amount from each side. We multiplied by the same amount on each side. We combined our like terms. All of those things maintain equity, okay? Awesome job on that, my friends. That was a little bit of review of what we did yesterday. Awesome, awesome job with that. So now let's take a look at our learning targets. We have 2 learning targets for today that build really strongly on what we did yesterday. First, I can write an equation to describe a situation that involves multiple quantities. Multiple quantities that are unknown basically means variables. Okay, variables, letters. So I can write equations with multiple variables in them and show the equation for a particular variable. So that means we're able to solve it and isolate for a specific variable. V equals length times width times height. If I want to solve or isolate for my H, I would divide by length times width, divide by length times width. I would get V divided by length times width is equal to my H. We're going to be able to go back and forth between different equations. Next, we're going to be able to know how solving for a variable can be used to quickly calculate the values of a variable. So when you're given different variables, so if you were given H is equal to some number, you might want to use this guy right here. You'd have to be given a few more variables, like you could say V is equal to 2 and L is equal to 7, right? That's not going to work out, but you're able to find out which variation of this equation is going to be most helpful for you to make that decision. Which one am I going to want to use to solve? Okay. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. I can't remember which activity that was though. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing for today. We're talking about a cargo ship. Okay, so that's a big ship that an automotive manufacturer is preparing a shipment of cars and trucks on a cargo ship that can hold a total of 21,600 tons. The cars weigh 3.6 tons each, and the trucks weigh 7.5 tons each. You need to write an equation that represents the weight constraints of the shipment, remembering and letting C be the number of cars and T being the number of trucks. So you're going to say, this total amount that the shipping container can hold is equal to something. You're taking 1 minute right now to write this equation for this piece, for this story here. Once you get your equations, I want you to write them in the chat for me. Actually, I'm probably going to give you a minute and a half because I want to make sure that we get what we're doing here. Maybe. Nice job, Claire. Nice job, Julia. Oh, you're just missing the 600 on the end there, Julia. But looks good. You probably have it written right. I just wanted to point that out in case you had it typed wrong. Nice job, Fizz. Nice job, Brady. But Aiden, remember each car, you need to talk about the weight of each car and the number of trucks. So it's not saying each shipping container can hold 21,000 vehicles. It's saying it can hold 21,000 tons. Each car weighs 3.6 tons and each truck weighs 7.5 tons. Awesome job, Eric, Fizz, Brady, nice job. So I want you to think about that, Aiden. I want you to think. So can I have, Claire was like really on it really quick today. Claire, can you unmute and can you tell me the equation that you wrote and then sort of talk me through how you wrote it?
So I started with the total amount that the cargo should hold, which was 21,600 tons, and I put that at the start. And then it has to be able to hold an equal number of cars to trucks. So I put the 3.6, which is 3.6 tons for every car, add the 7.5T, and that also says how many it can hold.
Yes, Claire, that was perfect. Awesome job. So she said the total amount that the cargo ship can hold is equal to 3.6 times the number of cars because each car weighs 3.6 tons. And so you have to multiply that by the number of cars that you have. Then you need to multiply the 7.5 for every truck times the number of trucks. And then to find the total amount of weight, you have to add them together. So good. Very, very, very good. So now we're going to use this equation moving forward on 6 and 7. So we're going to actually take this equation and we're going to isolate for different variables here. So now I want you to make sure that you have this correct equation written down because we're going to use it moving forward. If you wrote it using X's and Y's, please change it because we're talking about cars and trucks here, okay? So let's take a look at what slide 6 we're going to use this equation to do, okay? So on 6, I'm going to rewrite the equation up at the top here. 21,600 is equal to 3.6 C plus 7.5 T, okay? So now what you need to do is we need to look at if we're given the number of cars, we're finding the number of cars when we're known or given the number of trucks that we're buying. So my suggestion to you, before you figure out how many cars you need for each one of these by plugging them into this equation, I first want you to think about the T number of trucks. So I want you to take this equation right here and I want you to isolate so that you can say C, or the number of cars, is equal to, and then some sort of pattern that's going on here. So I want you to first isolate to get your C by itself. And then I want you to go back and look at how many cars for 480 trucks, 1,500 trucks, 2,736 trucks. I'm giving you 2 minutes right now to isolate this equation and then find these 3 values. Put your equation in the chat once you get started, once you find it, and then your values that you get as well, okay? Actually, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. Go ahead, get started. Wonderful. We have another 2 minutes and 8 seconds for ourselves. Once you start to get equations with isolating for C, let's start to get those in the chat. Wonderful. We're taking another minute and 14 to work on isolating for C and then finding the number of cars for each one of those 3 values that we were given for the trucks. I want to start to see some equations in the chat though. I don't have any equations in there. I know I already said this, but Aiden, nice job on that correction there for that equation. Awesome job. There we go. Better.
Do you want the equations or answers?
You can, you know what? If you want to just put your answers in the chat, you can, and then we'll talk about the equation. Wonderful. We're taking another 9 seconds for ourselves. I need answers to start to get put in the chat. Nice job, Melina. We're gonna look at that equation. Okay. So we are looking at isolating this C here. So if we're looking at this equation right here, down here, we need to isolate for our C. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to move that T over to the other side. So Julia, how did you go about getting that T, that 7.5 T over to the other side?
So what I did was I wrote out 3.6c plus 7.5 parentheses 480, and then I multiplied 7.5 times 480, and then I got 3.6c plus 3600, and then I subtracted 3600 from each side, and then I did 3.6 divided by 18,000, and I got c equals 5,000.
That is fantastic. Yes. But what I asked you to do first, before you started to find these, was I asked you to isolate your equation. So yes, you can plug in the 480 and solve, but I wanted you to practice that concept of isolating your equation. So I need to get this C by myself. And so to each side, I am going to have to subtract 7.5T from each side to get that C by itself. My first move is I need to subtract 7.5 from each side, 7.5T. So if I rewrite it, it's going to be 21,600 minus 7.5T is equal to 3.6C. Now, what's my next step on how to isolate this 3.6T here? Melina Main, can you unmute and can you tell me, how do I isolate that 3.6C here?
You divide 3.6 on both sides.
Very good. So because there is subtraction going on here, we have to sort of think about this as one unit, right? Or one term. So we're going to divide by 3.6 on my right side. I'm going to divide by 3.6 on my left side. So when I'm looking at, and I asked you to isolate, in this box right here, the equation that we would write would be C is equal to 21,600 minus 7.5T, all divided by 3.6, okay? Because that'll make it a lot easier for you when you go to solve it for these values here, because all you do is plug this 480 in here and you solve it. You multiply times the negative 7.5 and you then subtract that from the 21,600 and then divide it by 3.6. We would get 5,000 cars here for this one here. Okay, so now if we use this equation and we solve when we have 1,500 trucks, even if you've given me the answers already, I want you to tell me again in the chat, how many cars would there be if there are 1,500 trucks? Tell me again in the chat. Nice job, Claire. Nice job, Brady. Nice job, Fizz. Dillo, nice job. Nice job, Julia. Exactly, there's gonna be 2,875 cars. Because if you take 1,500 and you substitute it in for T here, you would solve it and get 2,875. You want to make sure that you are following that order of operations, doing it piece by piece. Don't type the whole thing into the equation. That's kind of crazy. It gets you set up for problems. Now, for C, what did we get? How many cars would there be if there were 2,736? Let me know in the chat, please. How many cars would there be? Nice job, Aiden. Nice job, Julia. Nice. Oh, Claire, that's a little bit too big, my friend. Dillo, nice job. Brady, nice job. Claire, try it one more time, my friend. Make sure you're doing them one piece at a time. So do this multiplication first, then subtract it from this, then do the division by 3.5. What else do we think? Come on, guys. I don't have 5 friends doing it right now. I need everybody to give me answers. Reese's Pieces, what are you getting for this one? Landon, I haven't heard from you in a while. Brianna, what are we getting for answers? Come on, guys. Nice job, Biz. We're getting 300 cars for this one. Very good. Okay. So now, last bit that we're going to do for today. Since we were a little bit late coming in from ELA, not a problem. Not a problem, Jason. We are going to be taking a few extra minutes today. So if we're looking at this next piece here, slide number 7. Slide number 7, we're using the same original equation, but now you need to isolate it for T. So on the last slide, we isolated it for C. I want you to isolate it for T this time. Using this equation, isolate it for T. Okay, and then after you isolate it, you're going to use that equation to calculate how many trucks will there be when there's 1,000 cars and when there's 4,250 cars. You're taking 3 minutes right now to isolate your equation for T, then find those two values. You need to not just plug those two values in and solve. You need to isolate the equation, okay? 3 minutes starting now. Wonderful. We're taking another 2 minutes and 30 seconds for ourselves. Brianna, I need your answer in the chat for the equation. I want to see what your equation is, Bri. You don't have to share it out. I just want you to put it in the chat. Jessica, I need you to put yours in the chat. Reese, I want you to put yours in the chat. I haven't heard from you all day. Caleb, Landon, answers in the chat, please. And Luke, I want to see your equation. I'm not going through it until I see all 5 of those people's in the chat, please. Okay, I see what you're doing there, Claire. Nice job. So give me that final answer there. Nice job there, Claire. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I understood what you were saying. So just write that as a division sign. Just use like a slash for yourself. Okay, I'm still looking for, we have a minute. Luke, Caleb, Lando, Reese's Pieces, and Jessica, I'm looking for your equations in the chat, okay? Is equal to what, Julia? I think that the T should be on the other side. Nice job. Only to main. Good. Now what's that next step there? Because we still have a 7.5 T. You need to get the T all by itself. What are you gonna do? Okay, Luke, I'm gonna have you, when we go through it, I'm gonna have you unmute because you gave it a shot and we're gonna talk through it together, okay? Okay, I'm still looking for Landon. I'm still looking for Caleb. I'm still looking for Reese. Nice job. Thank you, Landon. Attendance is gonna start to be changed if you're not answering me when I'm asking you to answer me. That means Jessica, that means Caleb. I need answers from you, please. I need to start to see things. Okay, Luke, Luke. Can you help me out, Luke, with this guy here? So let me write the equation and let's start to talk through how we would isolate for T, okay? So 21,600 is equal to 3.6 C plus 7.5 T, okay? So Luke, first question, when I ask you to isolate for T, that means the T needs to be what?
Like separated.
Separated all by itself on one side of the equal sign, all by itself. So if we look at this equation here, we're gonna need to move some stuff on the right side of our equation. So which variable is totally different from that T?
3.6C.
Very good, the 3.6C, exactly. So if I wanna move this whole thing together, you wanna move the whole thing together. How do you move that whole thing together? It's either gonna be addition or subtraction. So how would I move this guy here, Luke?
Subtract it.
I would subtract it. Yes, Luke, that's fantastic. So I would subtract 3.6C from each side, okay? So I would be left with 21,600 minus 3.6C is equal to 7.5 T. Nice job, Luke, fantastic. So now I'm gonna have someone pick up where he left off. Claire, can you help me with the next piece of this? How do I get that T by itself? Actually, I'm not gonna have Claire help me. I've already had you help me. Jason, can you help me?
Yeah,
Okay, so how do I get that T by itself?
you divide
By,
7.5.
very good, 7.5. And remember, it's gonna be like this is in parentheses because we need to keep it together because of that subtraction. Yes, Landon, go ahead. I'm gonna divide the right side by 7.5. So my equation is gonna be T is equal to, I would say write it in parentheses, 21,600 minus 3.6C, all divide by 7.5, okay? And then if we're gonna solve for 1,000 cars and 4,250 cars, we're gonna say that when there's 1,000 cars, there's gonna be 2,400 trucks. And there's going to be 840 trucks. Okay, that is what we're doing for today. We were isolating again for different variables. There are a number of people that I called on that I didn't hear from, whose attendance is going to be changed for today because you mysteriously weren't here and you didn't let me know in the chat that something was going on. So those friends that I was talking about are probably going to be having their attendance changed for today because it's not appropriate for you not to be acting or participating. So I'm going to clear my ink and let's go through what our homework for this afternoon is. This afternoon's work is you have 8 slides of practice problems to do. The first 4 should take you probably 5 minutes. The last couple are where it gets a little bit more challenging. There is a video that I go through all the questions, and then at the end I go through all the answers. You're using this timer video to keep track of the time for your activity. So I'd say you're going to take 15 minutes to work on this. You take 15 minutes, you come back, play the video, and you go through the answers. If you have questions, you're asking me them in the email. And for the afternoon work, you are just letting me know. I have a Zoom that I'm going to set up at 1 to 2 if you want to jump in and get help with your work, okay? So awesome job today, my friends. I am going to leave it